tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, RWBY fans. Welcome to another episode of the Rooster Teeth's RWBY After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm so happy.
I am ecstatic. I'm excited to be here.
Flipping great.
Yes.
I know, we have a full panel tonight. That hasn't happened in ages. But tonight we are going to be covering the world of Remnant 2, Kingdoms, and Episode 8, Field Trip. I'm so excited. Joining me on the panel tonight is Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies.
Mark Donica.
I am here as well.
And Patrick Dees joining us for the first time in a few weeks, and I believe he has something he wants to say.
I've got a little housekeeping. So first of all, thanks for having me back. I got to tell you, I finally put down Destiny long enough to talk RWBY with you guys. So no, I've been traveling on business, and off the top of the show, I had a little bit of housekeeping. Today's a very special day. Today, one of our dear and close friends was brought into this world. Mark, happy birthday, sir.
Oh, geez.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
This is copyright.
Happy birthday to you.
Right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mark. Happy birthday to you. Yay.
Look, it's a cupcake. Thank you very much. I'm not going to eat this on the set because it's too clean and I feel terrible.
We had
Thank you
a
very
cupcake
much.
disaster. I don't think it handled the transportation
That's
very
how you
well.
get ants, Patrick.
That was the best way. Look,
I'll tilt it so it's show forward. Just
Maybe
ignore.
we should continue
Anyway,
because our esteemed guest looks really confused by
We do. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest here in the studio with us tonight. We actually have 2 guests tonight, but joining us right now via Skype is Shannon McCormick, a.k.a. the voice of Ozpin.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic.
Love the spirit fingers.
Yes, it was. Well, I'm really glad that we have you on for this episode because Ozpin, he really ruled this episode. It was really great.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, he's good for coming in for monologues.
Explained everything away.
Yeah, or pep talk, you know, pep rally speeches. So yeah, it was fun. I take it you guys planned this out on purpose, right? That you didn't have me in after an episode that Ozpin wasn't in or something like that.
Sure.
We
Keep believing that.
literally just watched the show today.
I saw it an hour ago.
Like everyone else.
I mean, thank you for believing that.
Okay. Yeah, it would have been awkward had you invited me on and it was like, damn, no, he's not in this episode at all.
Oh, we talked
Doesn't
about
matter.
it, though.
Still Shannon.
Yeah, we talk.
Yeah, we talk all about this.
Comes up every episode for sure.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're very excited to have Shannon here today. We will be taking your questions via Twitter, via the AfterBuzz TV online chat, and as Katie mentioned earlier, we are going to be announcing the contest winner at the end of the show. So for all of you guys who entered into the contest, thank you guys so much. We had tons and tons of applicants. Do we have a drawing thing?
We do, and I think we do that at the end.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys.
Excellent.
I was I'm new to the RWBY community, but I just want to say to people, like, this community is amazing. Like, having been part of other communities and there's never been a community I've seen that's just like unmitigated, like, warmth and friendliness and speculation. I don't know. The RWBY community, this has just been awesome. So thanks, guys, for all your entries and good luck.
They can be pretty great.
And
they
good
really
luck.
can.
Sure.
Yes, it definitely warms our hearts. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let's go ahead and talk about the world of Remnant 2, which is, again, another kind of short, just world-building episode. And this time we talk about the 4 kingdoms. The Atlas, Mistral, and I apologize if I mispronounced that, Vacuo, and Vale. And the episode just talks about kind of like their governments and their military, and you know which countries kind of place more emphasis on military is kind of apparent. And then
just a little.
Kind of unsettling as they talk about like small villages that happen to just kind of disappear on occasion.
RWBY does Roanoke?
I guess. And then, anybody who's wandering as a nomad is also really susceptible to that. And then they also talk a little bit about the Hunters and the Huntresses Academies. But what I really liked about this episode is that we actually get to see the world, and we get to see kind of, these 4 beacons of hope for humanity.
They didn't mention the menagerie, the place where the Faunus supposedly went to after the war. There was no kingdom mentioned there. There were entire continents that didn't have the lovely little lights on them.
Yeah, there were a couple of those, and that's a little unsettling.
There was a lot of land that they didn't cover, and then just this whole thing was very foreboding about the military and about all of the traveling villages. I hope we get to see some wandering folk on this field trip when we get to it.
They provide a light for the world as long as they stand together.
Really close to it.
And all of the lights go out.
Yeah.
You could not be more ominous if you tried.
We're all gonna die.
Well, and that's
9 seasons planned.
No.
Obviously,
Not even close.
we have the creatures of Grimm is one of the big things that the humanity has to stand together against, but we don't really get a whole lot about what else is kind of out there. I mean, we clearly see that there's a lot of social stuff going on, especially with the faunus and everything like that. So it makes me wonder what else besides the creatures of Grimm we have to pull together against.
Well, we had 95 seconds of information. That's not a lot.
No, not really, but enough to ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
But beautiful animation, as with the one previously before it, too. It was really, really nice to look at.
It's like a war film. Yeah, seeing the army there, it almost looked like
40s propaganda.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
It's really
Just them
weird.
marching through, absolutely.
Well, it is Ironwood, and he's the guy that showed up to a festival with 3 warships.
And a couple mechs, and
That guy.
Dude knows how to party.
he really does. Well, do you guys have any other thoughts about the world of Remnant for this particular episode?
I just want to know more.
That's fair,
the bottom line.
Sure.
I really want to know more.
I thought it was a cool departure, right? Like, it was a cool way to deliver exposition and not bury it in an episode, right? Because I think they do a phenomenal job of giving us really intricate, character relationships. They develop character a lot in that short amount of time, but it's good to have additional exposition. So I hope they do more.
And it makes sure that it ensures that the bye weeks aren't devoid of content.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now that we've covered that, Shannon, since you have been nice enough to take the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us today, tell us a little bit about your experience with RWBY.
Well, it's interesting. I feel like I was one of the first non-Rooster Teeth people who saw it, and partly that's because I'm involved in Red versus Blue. So I guess this was in fall of 2012. Monty pulled me over to his desk one day when I was in to record some wash lines, and he was like, "Hey, I have this thing to show you. Check it out." And it was the RWBY trailer. It was the red trailer, and I was like, "Dude, this is amazing."
Right.
It's going. I think there was some internal what is this thing? What are we making? Is this going to be popular? And I knew right away when Monty showed it to me. I was like, "That's going to be a mega hit." And it's basically turned out that way. And then I got to come in and audition in the spring of 2013. It was great. I read for both Torchwick and Ozpin, and they chose me for Ozpin, and I think Gray's doing a great job with Roman. So I think the casting there is really good.
Yeah, awesome. No, we agree. You were an improv artist. Obviously, you have a lot of experience with that. I don't imagine that with the speeches that Ozpin gives, I don't imagine that there's a lot of room for improvisation. But did they let you improv?
As Ozpin, those moments haven't come up. I mean, he's a very calculating guy, and his scenes are very measured, and he just hasn't been in a situation where he needs to be glib on the fly, which is, improv is good for that. So I haven't done any improv as Ozpin, but we don't know about what the future may hold.
All right.
Do you think he has it in him to be glib on the fly?
Oh, absolutely. And it's also, I think, in a way, like with Wash, although even early on, there's some canonical Wash lines from Red versus Blue were improvised as well.
Sure.
But in almost every situation, they're improvised in the sense of Bernie or Miles know we need a beat here that indicates something, right? And they'll give this sort of general what's going on here. And then I'll just like ad-lib in the booth until we get something that everybody laughs at or thinks is appropriate. I think we're still kind of getting to know Ozpin well enough to say, we need a beat here. We don't know what it is, but could you fill it in, or why don't you play around a little bit? And I think we're all of us, the writers, me, we're all getting to know him still. And I think at some point we'll probably be like, oh, hey, Oz needs to say something here. But we're not happy with the line that we have. Can you give it a go? So I think that's going to happen.
I can't wait. I just can't wait.
Now, the season where Wash got to cut loose and be funny was an awesome departure for the character, and I can't wait to see Ozpin do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what it really is we always saw Wash in action, right? And so action always has contingencies and danger, and you need to sort of be clever on the fly when you're in danger, and we haven't seen that with Ozpin yet. So I think that when those opportunities present itself, we might see a little bit more room for that kind of playfulness.
Interesting. Well, so Shannon, something interesting. We're still kind of getting to know Ozpin a little bit. One of my favorite questions this week, as you know, we culled Twitter. I appreciate you helping spread that word a little bit. We culled Twitter for some questions for Ozpin specifically. So I wanted to read this one to you and get your take on this because we're still kind of getting to know. He says, Ammo Burner on Twitter says, how exactly does Ozpin take his coffee? And in your opinion, who would win in a fight, Ozpin or Dumbledore?
The same person on Tumblr asked that question. The Many Faces of Truth on Tumblr also wants to know how Ozpin takes his coffee.
This is a big deal. And answer carefully.
Irish, evidently.
Amen.
Look. What? He obviously takes his coffee black.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And
I get behind that.
And frequently.
Fair.
Yeah, that's also just my own bias. But look, when you see him pour a cup, there's nothing else around.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Just
a little bit of dust, maybe.
And he would be meticulous. He would have the fixings and would do all the fixings in the right order, probably, if he took cream and sugar. So black, definitely.
Okay.
Makes things easier.
Fair enough.
He's not Ironwood. He doesn't carry a flask.
And then if it came down to it, I mean, who wins in a fight? Is that Ozpin or Dumbledore? I got money on Ozpin. I'm just saying, but I'm a little biased.
You're betting with our Twitter followers?
I mean, we do.
Yeah. We got to say Ozpin. Although, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we did have one, just speaking of Dumbledore, obviously a lot of people kind of see a little bit of some similarities between Dumbledore and Ozpin. And we had a Twitter user, Nathan Ness, who wanted to know whether or not kind of Dumbledore was part of the influence for Ozpin's character, or if that just happens to be a coincidence.
As a piece of writing, or as my portrayal?
Your portrayal.
My portrayal. Not as much in my portrayal. I mean, I think the sort of kindly headmaster character is Dumbledore is your most obvious go-to in that kind of situation. But I mean, even you look at something like Soul Eater or something, and you have the Grim Reaper. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a.
Are we going to see any giant karate chops?
Oh my God, yes.
Giant hands. Look at my hand right now.
She's going to hit people with the cane. Stop it.
He's not as big of a goofball as the Grim Reaper in Soul Eater, but so I think it's there it's there in the writing. I don't really think about it very much in the portrayal or the way that I'm reading the lines.
Okay, what do you draw from for influences for Ozpin then?
For me, well, I mean, part of it is I'm thinking about, he's a Dumbledore-like character. He's like a fatherly-like character. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, when I went into the audition, it was when I had just started watching Game of Thrones. And this is out there in the community. I've mentioned this a number of times.
Yes.
But for me, I don't think it's an impersonation or that it even sound that much like him. But for me, it's always been a kind of a Charles Dance as Tywin Lannister.
Okay.
And I think Tywin and Ozpin are very different characters. But vocally, he's a direction that I'm going or thinking about when I'm reading those lines.
Yeah, I can see that. Very calculated. I had to take a minute to process that. It took a lot of RAM, right? Like, they're both very calculated, very precise in their language. I can see that.
That's really metal.
Yeah. And
I just love the story.
Yeah, and some of those scenes with, in Game of Thrones, I mean, in the books, Tywin is kind of this shadowy presence, or he's more behind the scenes. But on screen, Charles Dance is just so amazing, and the scenes with him and his children are really powerful. Even when he's being a total jerk.
Yup.
So on days ending in Y?
There's a tenderness and there's a believable fatherly vibe in the chemistry between all those actors, and I really try to draw from that in also my own experience as being a father. I think my favorite scene as an actor has been the scene in Volume 2, Episode 2 with Blake, where he's sort of coaxing out from her that he he knows that she's been, he knows her history. He's giving her an out. He's letting her, tell her side of the story. She doesn't want to, and he's not going to punish her for it. And I think there's a lot of complicated motivations going on in that scene. I really like that scene a lot. It's well written.
It was
Pretty great.
Yeah, no, that was again, Ozpin just has a lot of really great dialogue.
Yeah.
Because he's such a monologuing character, is there anything in particular that that you do to get into character, or any vocal exercises you do to kind of prepare for all that monologuing?
Not so much. I mean, I get the scripts in advance, and he's measured enough that it's not hard to spit that stuff out. A lot of it is just finding the nuances and the right rhythms in the sentence to bring the sort of meaning across and the subtext. Whereas somebody like Wash is maybe more excitable, and when he's monologuing, you have to really sort of watch your breath a little more carefully to make sure that you don't run out of breath for a big ramp up kind of speech or something like that. Ozpin is the subtlety is hard. The technique is not, if that makes any sense.
Yes. We actually had a question about from Tumblr user Miss Nerdgasm. She wants to know what you great name, right?
I know her. She interacts with me on Tumblr. If she's a she, I think she's a she.
Pretty sure she's a she.
Sure.
She's fun.
But yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And she wants to know what you think of Ozpin's tomotivations, what you think goes through his head when he, for example, does the rule bending today.
Yes.
Bye, kids. Enjoy facing death.
Right.
What do you think his motivations are?
What do I think his motivations are?
Yes, because I assume you don't have the entire story.
I don't have the entire story. But I don't think anybody has the entire story yet.
Just don't sit down with Monty for coffee if you don't want to know.
Tell him the entire story.
Well, has he told you the entire story?
Not
He's told
us.
JJ.
Yeah.
Well, look. So where do I have it? I can't find it. I can't find it.
AFTERBUZZ exclusive.
Okay. Where is it? Here we go. Here it is. This is Ozpin's motivations for seasons 3 and 4. Apparently, I am the only person who has this besides Bernie and Matt. So Miles and Carrie don't even have it.
Wow.
Can I have a sentence?
AFTERBUZZ exclusive.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, man, Monty is a cryptic dude. So even reading it, I'm not sure if I understand all the motivations.
Are you sure that's not just an envelope full of money?
That is a motivation. I
It's
feel
just
like
secretly hush money.
lots of motivations.
I haven't opened it. I don't know what's in it. He just told me it was important. No, man, I do understand. Well, okay. I don't understand his motivations in the. I don't know. No, I don't know.
Clever girl.
It's super complicated. I mean, in the short run, like what we're seeing, I think everybody gets it. It's like he's a guy who sees something in these kids who is going to give them a chance and let them indulge in some behavior that maybe isn't wise, but he's got a hunch, right? He's got a gut feeling that they are important or they're onto something. And I don't think that that's like in any way giving anything away. I think that's the read that everybody has when they watch those episodes. That's the read that I bring to it when I'm reading the scripts. It's like, oh, okay, we know that that kind of interaction. It's like that guy, he's giving them a chance. He doesn't know why, but he's going to go out on a limb and give them a chance. As far as the sort of three-dimensional chess behind it, there's some that I know. I think there's some that's still kind of being puzzled out on the fly, and that's pretty cool.
So it's basically Xanatos speed chess up in here.
What?
Never mind. I speak in tropes. Never mind.
Okay.
Highbrow improvising.
Well, we do have a couple more questions from Twitter. The Silent Pineapple on Twitter wants to know. Obviously, obviously you don't know a whole lot about what's coming. You know, it's in that top secret binder over there. But a lot of Twitter users are really hoping we get an Ozpin fight scene. Do you think that'll be something we see in the future?
Do I think it will be something we see in the future? I mean, look, it's a show that Monty's making. Come on.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean, will we see it in the future? I mean, I think that if I were a betting person, I don't think there's anybody who follows the show who would not bet money that at some point in the future we would get to see Ozpin in some kind of fighting thing. So make of that what you will.
Who would you want to face as Ozpin?
Oh, who
Personally, who would you want Ozpin to face?
There you go. Yes, got you. There we got you. I don't know. Does it have to be in the show?
No.
Godzilla. Yeah, just whatever.
Tywin.
Yeah.
Tywin's dead.
Spoilers.
He spoiled the entire panel. RTX.
RTX callback.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think. I mean, there's a lot of the Ruby story that we haven't been exposed to yet. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. Shannon, thank you so much. Where can fans go if they want to contact you or if they want to like just kind of find out more?
If they want to, well, they're not going to find out more. I can't say.
I'll find out more about you.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm pretty active. I'm probably most active with the fan community on Tumblr. My account on Tumblr is Root Beer Flotsam, which just it's a joke. It's a pun. It doesn't mean anything. And then my Twitter handle is Sad Ogre, and I interact with fans on both of those places. I'm probably a little more active in the fan community on Tumblr.
Cool.
All right.
You troll us every Monday night.
I do pretty consistently troll the fandom when shows are going on.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Ah, that was cool.
He is a good people.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's so awesome to hear him talk. Before we move on with the episode recap and with our second guest of the evening, I want to talk to you guys really quickly about iTunes. So many of you have gone to iTunes to rate and comment for the contest, but now that the contest is officially over, and again, we will be announcing the winner at the end of the show, now that the contest is over, we still really need your help. We really appreciate all the comments comments and the ratings. They make us feel good, but more importantly, they show our bosses that you guys love this show and that you guys love this after show. It makes us more searchable on iTunes, and it shows.
Booth Guy's here.
Yes, it is.
Hey guys, it's Booth Guy.
The Booth Guy.
Booth Guy has some more to say.
Thanks to the contest, we have of course gotten all of your iTunes reviews, and we have put them towards the contest, and they are in this bucket, this little basket with all your Twitter handles in it, and all your little iTunes things in it, and we're going to announce that at the end of the show, but I do have to give some shout-outs to all the people, and unfortunately I can't do comments because there's so many of you guys. All right, shout-out to Zoom T100, Baby Cakes, Wolf Ranger 42, Smith John J, Sunnydale 99, It's a Me, Mario, It's a Me, I'm Mario, Icarus, N. Kenry, Kartik 92, Bailey B21, Siberian Shot, Ethian 1, Slake 97, Gothic Mystery, Adolf Andretti 13, Ammo Burner, XXLXP, The Uncensored Gamer, Game Guy 95, Abby 5577, KTQ, Dexter RC, Kate Lynn, Ramal Free, Devi West, For the Yuri, all right. hashtag %, Lazarus, Reaper 51X, Jojo Blackbird, Ray Huck, D. Langston 66, River Dragon 83, Conman 20, Nathaniel, Sora March, That Guy Who Is Naomi, Carlos De Best, Ostman 110, Tyler Sniper Smith, Not Kristen 13, Anakin Mario Sun 43, SPK Dog, Psoriasis, Shaylee Sands, the official CFG,
there.
Yeah.
Boop. General Agamo, Music Lover 315, Larigo, Money Sign ON1, Terman, Scary Acres, Dragon City User, Crinkles 878, Frizzy B-Man 11, Ember Curly, Marceline the Vampire Queen, Yellow Tides, Tynosha, and Rubeastly, Stealth 86041. That's it! That's it! We're done! Oh my God, we're done!
Wow.
We're finally done!
Psoriasis was pretty good, but so was Not Kristen 13. Can you imagine? I'm going to be Not Kristen. No. Not Kristen 3. No.
My favorite one that I've heard tonight is definitely Silent Pineapple on Twitter.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Talkative. Silent Pineapple, we love you.
Yes,
But guys, you know who we do have? We have Kathleen on the line!
Welcome, welcome.
Why can't I see you?
Because do you really
We're
want to see
ninjas.
me in the booth the whole time?
I do. Okay, can I just tell you, I was listening to you guys talk about Disney. Do you want to hear some really good Disney stuff?
Oh, no.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So here's what's crazy. So when I was a kid, my babysitter and her friend, they were like 17 years old, they went to Disneyland.
Oh, no.
And this was back in the day when the People Mover was there. I mean, now it's like a rocket thing. I don't even know what it is anymore. Anyways, the People Mover was this little ride that you sat in, but it didn't have any kind of bars around. Like you'd sit down and it just had a little top. So my babysitter, Cheryl, she goes on the ride. She and her friends have the little ears. They're going across the part where you're like 2 stories above the, the whole, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Her ears blow off. And she's like, oh, I don't think so. She gets out of the ride.
No.
She goes to get her ears. She falls.
Oh,
she freezes down. Yes. She gets helicoptered out, and she broke like all these bones. She had pins going like through all these bones, like through her body. And I remember my mom telling me the story. I'm like, no, not at Disneyland. But wait, let me just tell you one last story real quick,
No,
too.
please. This is fantastic.
That's really gross is there was a ride called America Sings. And back in the day, you sat in the audience and you rotated around this. It was like a 360, and the audience would go from segment to segment to segment, right?
Oh,
so
I've heard this one.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So you couldn't get up during the ride, but the people that escorted you, like the hostess, the Disneyland people, they weren't supposed to get out of their seats either. And so there was this girl where she introduced the whole show to everybody, and then they like went on their little ride, and they came around, and she was gone. They got everybody out. She was smushed. She had
in
hair.
between the cement.
You didn't know that?
You didn't hear that one?
You didn't know that?
Yeah,
But
Megan!
I thought that's where this story was going.
did they get her out before she died? Because she didn't die at Disneyland.
No, she died. Oh, no,
No, they got her out before she died. You're not allowed to die at Disneyland.
they declared her dead in the parking lot. She was probably very legally.
Oh my god.
So wait,
I'm the Disney aficionado, just so you know.
Awesome.
You and me
Welcome.
both. You and me both.
There are books with those stories in them, and now we have somebody to peg them to.
Disneyland, they have like the scavenger hunt where you go and you find all the special things. I mean, I've worked with people in the animation industry, so it's like Disney is like the biggest part of it. Okay. So I can go on and on, but that's another segment.
So when you go to Disneyland, are you pointing out trivia to everywhere you go?
Yeah.
When you go down Main Street, just so you know, they did it in a way that it is, if you look closely, the buildings, when you're first there, have like 3 stories worth of windows. And then because they want to make it feel like it's longer, you'll have then 2 windows. And then at the very end of Main Street is 1 window.
Oh, dang,
And
you're right.
the windows are all named after people that used to work at Disneyland. Very like high up, people. So
That's awesome.
It's a forced perspective. So when you go down, it feels like it's long, and when you go back, it feels like shorter.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
We'll definitely
You
have
know
to talk
about the
Disney.
light above the firehouse?
Wait, say that again?
The light in the firehouse window.
Yes.
You know the story?
I probably do, but tell me real quick.
Tell all
And then we have to get back to the episode.
Let's get to Ruby now, guys. No more Disney stories. Let's get to Ruby.
Sorry.
We
Okay.
only have her for 22 minutes.
I'll tweet it to you afterwards.
Yes.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't know, Kathleen does the voice of Glinda Goodwitch.
Yay.
And she killed it this episode.
Yes, she did.
She just about killed Ironwood.
Yes, she did.
I think that Glinda and Ironwood should have a little.
That was actually something a lot of people have been asking us about on Twitter, and actually something that we're curious about too, because she seems to take a lot of everything he says. She takes really personally.
Did they
Doesn't
used
she
to
take
be
it like a scorned lover, kind of like, "Ugh, what are you talking about, James?
Yeah.
Right?
Everything
Right?
is a D-measuring contest.
Did you actually have
they
that?
history behind what you see?
Did you actually have that full line in the script, or did it cut off at D?
No, I had to say it. No, you know what? You always say the line, and then they can cut it in post.
Sure.
And it's exactly what we think it is, right?
It's Dick, baby.
There you go.
Well,
There you go.
Mystery solved.
And Mark's
Can I
wearing
make
the
that a
shirt.
sound drop, please, Kathleen?
It's Dick, baby.
And I have a new text message sound.
I know, right?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Well, and so basically this episode opens up with them trying to get more information from Ruby, and then kind of just going, what are we going to do about this? Because Ruby, when she realizes that, it's the White Fang who is possibly associated with these guys, and it could possibly be that girl that Glinda fought the night they met Ruby.
Yes.
It-
Cinder. Yes. I'm sorry. My dog wants to say hello.
Oh, hi,
Oh.
Ruby. Oh.
the internet says hello.
What's your puppy's name?
You'll kiss me. No, don't even go there. Okay, but yes. She seems to, put it together. But then did you see how Ozpen kind of shunned?
Just
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, let
Right?
her talk. Let her talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Glinda was like, well, didn't you just say? She was trying to say, and it's kind of like, hello there. Right, but there's some stuff going on, and I'm going to tell you, all the people that say, I didn't get to read it, I read the whole damn thing. It's great. Just so you know. So maybe I was privileged. I don't know. I think I read everything. But I was very, very impressed by the story and all the character arcs and how it's going to go. I thought that this season was, last season we had to basically set all the characters up and set, get everybody familiar with everything. But this season, it's all about the story and it's like drama and the relationships and, building everything out. And I think that's what's so exciting about this season.
We could not be happier.
Oh yes, it's so exciting. Although I'm really, I'm trying to use restraint right now because now knowing that you know more than a lot of the other guests that we have on.
I want to ask all the tough questions now.
Yeah. Plausible deniability.
Shoot! Are you kidding me? Sorry, Glinda has fallen down the elevator shaft.
Doesn't she have dust? Can't she stop herself?
Okay.
Well, tell us a little bit about, like, so when Monty first approached you about the role, kind of what were your initial thoughts, and then, you know, like, what was that experience like?
Well, ironically, I was producing the first season, and so I think they felt guilty because I said, hey, I want to do a voice, and so then he was like, oh my God, Glinda. So yes, it's a different thing when the boss is asking to do a voice and when it's just like, hey, what's going on? But no, I had a track record with Tex, so I'm hoping that's why. But I took it very seriously because I have a lot of respect for Carrie and for Miles and Monty, because these are, you know, they're three young men that that are doing things a lot different than they do in Hollywood, and I respect that. So, you know, I went through the process. I you know, interviewed. I did the whole audition thing. I did, you know, I was like, hey, I'm gonna audition. I might be the boss, but I'm still gonna audition. And I took every one of their notes because that meant a lot to me. And I also, you know, I didn't want it to sound like Tex. I didn't, you know, I didn't, because Monty said to me, I've got this great character and she's badass. And, you know, I mean, Monty made Tex be that amazing character with the fight scenes, but he recognized that I said, I want to do something different. Right. So it was really exciting for me to be able to try different sounds for different ages and different softnesses and a whole different look. So it was, you know what? I was very excited about having the challenge.
So awesome. Well, you know, and knowing everybody at Rooster Teeth has an amazing sense of humor, was there any ribbing during the audition process? Did they mess with you a little bit?
God,
what was that like?
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, it's always ribbing.
For sure.
The middle word. Yeah. But it's one of those things where, and you have to have a thick skin because that's going to happen. You know, the thing about it is you get in the booth and funny things come up. I mean, when there's certain phrases. I mean, when I was doing my scene with James Iron, you know, the whole thing. I mean, I'm all like bow chicka bow wow.
Yes.
DVD extras at this point.
The voice actor was, and he's a hunk. I'm all like, oh yeah. Please, let's really, this is good.
They should totally get together.
In fact, we should do a table read.
If we need to meet each other, maybe have dinner. I don't know. But yeah, it was great. It was great, and I like the fact that I got a chance to do something. You know, here's a character who's a whole different look. She's very soft, very feminine, but she's very strong, and I like that about her. And I mean, she's got her riding crop, and she's like, "Yeah, bitches, you are going down." So I like that, you know.
I've never seen a riding crop used to channel magic, dust, energy, etc. before, and that's amazing.
Speaking of another,
it's like to channel like it into ice, into fire, whatever I want. I've been trying to get one made for home, but I haven't.
That would be exceedingly useful. But speaking of another look, we have one user on Twitter at Nerio who wants to know,
hi Neri,
what sort of alternate outfit would you like to see your character in?
I think a bathing suit.
Yeah. And the internet just exploded.
Neri is,
It makes sense. You know what? It's all about her alter ego, right? And I think that Glinda has that sexy side. I'm going back to James. I think she and James need to have a moment.
Yep.
And maybe it's like a flashback. They're like in the beaches of, I don't know, wherever, fantasy world. And she's got some really cool looking, you know, I don't know, some.
I feel like you can wield the tools of social media to make that happen. Let's come up with a hashtag, and I feel like we can just lobby Monty and the crew.
Are you kidding? This is going on Tumblr. We will have swimsuit Glinda within the hour.
We can make this happen. Yeah, there you go.
You know what? I wanted to print out. I have hundreds of fan art, and I have it a lot here in my office. But I'm telling you, you're right. Because now that we said that, these artists, they're very talented, these young folks. They're going to be like Glinda bathing suit. Make it stylish, though, guys. Let's not make it.
Yeah, let's be classy.
Don't phone it in.
Phone it in, right, exactly. Glinda might not be you know, bosom buddy there. Let's you know, keep her tasteful.
I do love the passion in the community. What's kind of been your favorite like fan art or fan created thing that's been sent your way?
It's
I gotta tell you, I have a lot.
Yeah, right?
I have framed stuff, but it's not of Glenda. But let me just show you this one thing I have. This is, let's see right here. This is a framed piece.
Whoa.
This was done.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was done and it was sent to me. So it's me and my Greyhound dog. The framed stuff, I'm always amazed. But the Glenda stuff is beautiful, and I wish I could, you know, at the top of my mind think of, there's a lot of Twitter fans, they've come to RTX and they have done these beautiful drawings. I mean, Glenda kind of lends herself to, well, all of RWBY's shows, characters, I think lends itself to beautiful renditions of the characters, because there's so much color and angles and, you know what I mean, and gestures and costuming. So I think Glenda has, I mean, what, you know, Master Chief text, what can you do? Master Chief.
Right, yeah.
Okay. But with Glenda, it's like, God, I've seen so many beautiful, beautiful pictures on Twitter, and I always take them and I put them on my desktop. You know, I keep them, and some people send them to the studio, that, you know, the originals, and I cherish every single one of them. I mean, it's brilliant work. So.
That is so cool.
It's fantastic.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Can I do a shout out real quick?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have a very special young lady, my boyfriend, his daughter, Sydney. She goes to school in Marble Falls, and she's a huge anime fan. And so I wanted to say hi to Sydney, because she, you know, I got her, I don't think I was a proponent for her watching anime, maybe a little bit, but once she started watching it, you know, and she's seen RWBY, she's a big fan, so.
The whole chat wants to know why you did
Hi, Sydney.
boyfriend in air quotes.
Because I'm too cool to have a boyfriend. I'm like hi, a man friend, I don't know. He's listening to air traffic control. He's a pilot, and when he leaves, he was leaving tonight, he always, when he flies out of Houston, I'll listen to air traffic control, and when they say, you know, they always they say, okay, go to the Houston departure, he'll say, okay, blah, 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 the flight number and everything, and they'll say, good night, cat. So I'm always like, oh, good night, honey.
So great. So great.
It's really sweet.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned color, because we find out in this episode that color actually means a lot to the people, you know, in the kingdoms of Remnant. That's part of Ozpin's speech, is that that this war, like 80 years ago, was partially an oppression of, like, artistic expression.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, what were the two sides of this war? Because we know that there was a human faunus war. My questions are, is this the same thing? If not, who was doing the oppressing? There is so much more to this story that we as the viewers do not have. And I was talking about this in the pre-show earlier. We also don't know how long people live. We don't know what a faunus lifespan is. We don't know if humans do the usual 80 to 100 years, or if, because this is a fantasy world, they're all elves and they live for 300 years and it's normal.
They're not necessarily
Do we
humans.
have any veterans of this war kicking around? Do we have any people who went through this? They don't look that old, but it's anime.
You're right. No, it's interestingly enough, when we did the first volume, that opening with the Remnant was created, and it was, you know, the gentlemen, and I'm going to say gentlemen, and I'm going to encompass the Miles, the Carrie, and the Monty. You know, they had their vision when we first started this was past season 1, 2, and I mean, they had this thing written out.
Sure.
Which I was very impressed with. So what you saw in the Remnant, and you know, in that opening, there was a decision made where it's like, how much information do you want to give to everybody? Do you give, you know, all of it in the beginning, or do you hold some of it back? So that storyline, it was, you know, a decision made to say, okay, too much for the very opening, and you see that in volume 2. And so they knew in their heads what they wanted. And so it's one of the most interesting things, because if you look at everything that we have in the show, it borderlines on all these other stories. I mean, even Glinda Goodwitch, what is she? You know, I mean, from Wizard of Oz, you know, and Grimm, what is that from? Which that's what I loved about this, because if you have any kind of fascination with storytelling from the past, this show, it kind of encompasses all those things, Little Red Riding Hood, and, you know, I mean, all of those things, Disney stories, Grimm stories, and that's what I loved about it. And then they took it to that whole next level, which was their own mindset and their maps and their worlds. And a lot of that, I don't know, it's in their heads. So, you know what I mean? It's like we were, in animation, you want to sit down and you want to say, okay, is it a fantasy world? Is it a world that we all know of, like Earth? And you have to identify, right? So there's certain things when we started creating the show, and I would sit with the guys from my experience, you know, producing animation. I'd be like, okay, let's set these ground rules down, because you just want to have ground rules when you're making animation. So is this a fantasy world? Is it a, you know, is it a Harry Potter world? Is it? But they wanted it, and they did do this. They made it their own, you know, their own organic type of world. And I give them a lot of credit to that. Even though they utilize things from what we know, it's still its own, you know, type of world. So are they human beings? How long do they live? The fun thing about it is they can do whatever they want, right? And it's not like, here's the thing, it's not like we need to know the answer. We'll get the answer down the line.
Okay. That's reassuring. I hope we get answers soon.
It's reassuring and terrifying all at once.
But I think it's kind of fun, the fun of the show, right? It keeps people tuning in. So outside of just the love of all.
Exactly. That's the fun of the show. And that's what you want in something like this, right? I mean, it's, you know, part of entertainment is using our own minds to make up the stories that we want to have happen, right? And so you see all these fans, and they do their fan fictions and their writing. That's brilliant. I love seeing that, because it's everybody saying, okay, I want it to go this way. You know, I mean, we all did it, but now we have an arena in which you can, you know, make that happen. So it's, you know, I'm excited to see past Volume 2, because we talked about when I was, you know, producing on it, I went so far with them. And then after that, we'll see. You know what I mean? And then it'll be like, okay, now I'll be really excited about it. But no, I'm impressed with the way the stories are going, and I love the way the different characters are, you know, introduced. So
I do have a question about characters, and I'm not sure if this is something you can answer definitively or not. We know that Ruby's based on Little Red Riding Hood, and Yang is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. There's been questions going around as to whom Weiss is based on, Snow White, the Snow Queen, or something else. Can you tell us for certain?
You know what? I'm going to say it was Snow White. And you know, Monty might be cringing, but I'm thinking back when we talked about it, and it was all loosely based. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Snow Queen, Snow Queen, no. I want to say it was more the traditional routes. But what was so beautiful about when I talked to Think with Monty was he would take the traditional route, and then he embellished, you know, while I would sit there and I'm thinking, it would kind of be like, right? Never even looked at it like that. So, you know, but I'm pretty sure it was, I'm pretty sure it was the traditional route that, you know, the main characters.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Glenda, it's interesting because, you know, we would talk about Glenda, and he would talk, there was the anime, and I can't think of the name. It's going to kill me. You guys were talking about it with Shannon earlier.
Oh, Soul Eater.
What, say again?
Soul Eater.
Yes. But then also, you know, I kind of felt that she was like Lord of the Rings, the
Galadriel?
Galadriel. She was
Galadriel, yeah.
Nailed it.
Right? And so the elegance, you know?
Yeah.
And the wisdom. And they just packaged her different a little bit. But that's kind of, you know, when I tried to find that voice, that's kind of who I thought about when I was kind of channeling that voice. So
Megan, I'm cognizant of the fact that we've got a poster to draw, and we're kind of running near on time. I got one more quick Twitter question.
Sure, go right ahead.
Fair enough. I kind of loved this. So let's see. At Frederick Croc 3 said, "Will we ever get to see Glinda teach a class?"
Class. I saw that question.
Okay.
You know, she's like the vice principal. You know,
Sure.
they got the principal there. So she teaches. And when I read that, I was thinking to myself, the ironic thing is she's always teaching. If you really look
Sure.
at it, you know what I'm saying?
I like
She teaches by her example, and also when she's out on the field, when they were doing the, you know, they were out in the Grim, and you know they had to fight all the, you know, all the monsters and things. I would love to see that. I don't think it would be a class. I think it would be an auditorium that was there to learn. Like all of the school wanted to learn something special from her being a huntress. I think that would be more of how she would be teaching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As opposed to
I love it.
Gather around, children. Listen up.
She does seem to be running the practice matches. We saw earlier the matches with Pyrrhus.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Great
You know
point.
what I mean? And so she's on that kind of a thing. And so, I mean, I don't know, would you call she's a teacher there, but it's, yeah. I don't think you'd see in her classroom saying, hey, 1 + 1 is 2. But no, but you know, I think that she is very much wanting to be lead by example type of a personality.
Master class on like cafeteria cleanup, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, can I tell you, I wish I had that at my house where I could just, you know, do my finger and like my house would be clean.
100%. I'm right on that same page.
How many times has she had to put that cafeteria back together after students pull
I
stuff
know.
like that?
Yeah, okay, can I just bring that home? So.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be
That'd be
fantastic.
awesome.
Well, sadly, we are running short on time because we do have to wrap up.
We can go for about another 7 minutes.
Oh, really?
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. I'm going to tell you right now. I would love if you guys ever want to know about anything. I don't know if you ever looked up the other show or things that I've done, but in animation, I don't know what. But I would love to, if you ever want to talk animation and Iron Giant and all the different shows that I've worked on. I enjoy giving all the dirt and, you know, kind of telling it how it is.
That's
and,
great. We enjoy hearing the dirt.
Oh,
So this
yeah.
is a good relationship.
Actually, since we have a
Please
couple
let
more
us know
minutes.
the
We
next
should-
time you're in LA.
Yep.
We'd love to have you in studio, or
And-
you know, for coffee or whatever.
Megan can also set up a Skyping in the Voice of Interview, which is a long-form interview series we do here at AfterBuzz TV. I just
I would
interviewed
love that.
Phil Lamar from Pulp Fiction the other day, so y'all should check that out too.
Phil Lamar?
Yeah, I just interviewed him yesterday.
Okay, Phil and I are buds. Okay. So we just worked on a film of ours is coming out, which is it was Jason Reitman's film. It's
Yes,
coming out
in
October
17th, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
all right.
I did. If every show, I was just on Entertainment Tonight. It was so funny. I'm sitting in my living room and I'm like watching, and Jennifer Gardner is on Entertainment Tonight, and she started talking about this film, and I'm like watching it, and I realized that it was the film I just worked on back in December. And so I thought, oh, I'll watch what they're saying. And they had a little bit of the behind the scenes, and there was Jason, and there was Jennifer, and then you see me like. the shot. And I'm all like, oh my God, I'm on Entertainment Tonight. But anyways,
You know you've arrived when. Right?
She's been here.
Yep. True. Good point.
All right, guys, so we're going to do the announcement of the contest.
Uh-oh,
You
drum
get to
roll,
win.
please.
Oh, I can't do a drum roll, but you can do a drum roll. You're looking at the poster on the screen right now, and I'm going to turn my camera on, and we're going to have Kathleen announce the winner. You can see this basket full of names right here.
I hope
Let's
I
go
can see
ahead.
it.
Big money, no whammies.
Kathleen can see it.
We're gonna have to.
I'll hold it to the screen.
Okay. Signal me.
And it is.
Suspense is killing me.
Bump it up. I have one. I have
And
one
all
name.
of the internet.
I have one name, guys. And now let's go to number 5 camera.
Oh, I love this. Okay, ready? It is SDF River, and I see.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's exciting.
Congratulations,
All right.
SDF River, right?
So we'll follow
SDF
you.
winner.
At SDF River on Twitter, and we'll follow you and send you a DM with all the instructions on how to get that poster signed by all 4 members of the main cast of RWBY.
Congratulations, and thanks so much to everybody who entered. I thought the whole contest was just awesome.
Yeah,
You
thank
guys
you
are
so
wonderful
much, guys.
people.
And just to let you guys
Amen.
know, we do have another contest coming up in 2 weeks for the finale. Well, it's going to be finished on the finale, which is going to be a cast and crew poster signed by all the cast and crew of the show.
Whoa.
So that one will go on for 4 weeks of just people doing it on iTunes, but the rules are going to be a little bit different. We're gonna tweet out a flyer soon, and you guys will be able to partake in that contest.
Are we eligible this time?
Kathleen's eligible, but you're not, Mark.
Oh, dang it!
No, just said me. No, just said me. You guys probably are.
Oh,
Just not.
wait, yeah, are we all eligible?
It's his birthday. Come on.
I like seeing you in the booth rather than nothing. Just so you know, other people, I think they probably like to see you in the booth better.
Yeah, but then I'm in the booth like here, like this,
Booth guy, feel free to join in on our conversation, Steven.
doing spirit fingers. But yeah, so this has been pretty fun, guys. I do have to say thank you to Kathleen, and also, I mean, if you guys really want swag, you got to ask the guests. You got to ask Kathleen for swag, because we got to give the swag they give us to the guests.
Kathleen, can we have swag, please?
Do you see all this stuff? Oh, you know what I'm going to send you guys? I'll tell you what. You email me your address, and I will send you artwork from Space Jam.
Ooh.
And or Scooby-Doo, or I don't know, do you have favorites? And I have so much artwork. I have
Iron
artwork
Giant.
from so many cartoons.
Iron Giant's the
Iron
best.
Giant.
All right.
Big time
Well,
Space Jam. So
You're right here.
Yeah, right. Whoa, I don't play defense.
All right, guys, we do unfortunately have to wrap up, so let's go ahead and throw out our Twitter handles. And Kathleen, thank you so much. Where
Thank
can we
you
find
so much, Kathleen.
Great to talk to you guys.
Follow Kathleen at Zuelch.
Yay!
Zuelch. Sorry.
Bye, Kathleen. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that was awesome. Unfortunately, we're out of time. But yes, thank you guys so much. Follow us all on Twitter because we will be tweeting out stuff about this upcoming contest. Congratulations again to, it was SDF River, correct? SDF River, congratulations. Katie Cullen, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I am also on the Sword Art Online and Z Nation panels on Sundays.
Patrick.
I'm at P to the D is on Twitter, and I've got a little podcast on iTunes called Pixel by Pixel. Largely, we talk gaming and all things nerd.
Mark.
You can find me on Twitter at SoapboxMark, on the Rooster Teeth. Forgot how to speak for a second. Rooster Teeth forums at SoapboxMark. I'm here for the Epic Meal Empire after show and the NXT after show, and this has been fun. I'm just.
I know, I'm blown away. Happy birthday, Mark.
Happy birthday, Mark.
No.
And I'm Megan. You can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. Be sure to tweet Mark your happy birthday wishes.
Done and done.
Keep going.
Shucks. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you guys in 2 weeks.
I'm actually going to give my Twitter handle.
Oh, yes. Stephen Lemieux.
I actually talked this time, so I'll just say it. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux, and check me out this Sunday on the AfterBuzz TV show for The Strain. We have Kevin Durand calling in, actually Skyping in just like we did this, who plays Vasily Fett. And if you watch that show, you know that you guys want to watch that.
And definitely check out Stephen's The Voice Of with Phil Lamar that was recorded yesterday.
One last thing, if you're in the Los Angeles area, we are having a Rooster Teeth fan group meetup this Saturday. I have details on the Rooster Teeth site at Kiaxet, same as Twitter and Tumblr.
Done and done.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you guys in 2 weeks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.